They came out here and acquired property in this area.
Ça bouge pas. Thanks. Are you serious?
Upstairs. Let Marina know your seat number at the top of the stairs. Right. Good morning to you. How are you?
Lovely. Hey.
Good morning.
Yes, that's coffee.
Over your lap itself. So that's going to be your tray table for when you are upstairs, when you are having any beverages up here, when we do any services up here, we'll ask you to pop up those tray tables for us. Okay, over the railings or attempt to open the vestibule gates. Glassware is not to be taken outside. Always watch your step and use the hand. Confuse you all at the same time, but all four of us are going to be with you over the next couple of days. So we are going to be the faces you see. You're going to get to know us. Sometimes it pops out aggressively. Now what it's going to do is it's going to pop up and over. So it's going to come right up. Now again, this.
And we've of course got our bagpiper. He's playing, but he can't hear. I don't know if he knows that we can't hear him. I'm sure you are wondering
of those stairs.
This service. And for those of us that are remaining upstairs, you could be so kind as to take your tray table
All right.
upstairs.
Thanks.
And then we'll be coming through the coffee and tea
Sweet.
service.
North of Statesville, I can't remember the.
C'est une sauce bénédicte.
Yeah, it looks like Daytona.
Magazine. And if you took your phone and you just zoomed in on them and you took a photo and sent it to your folks back home, nobody would know the difference, and I'm not going to tell anyone otherwise. So I always think that's a great little tip for your Canadian adventure here. And if you do want to take any memories home with you, we have our
Land sale. So they came out here and acquired property in this area, as this was kind of around the time when the gold rush had died. And now the gold rush was in the 1840s to 1850s, when there was speckles of gold found in the Fraser River here. officially became a
So what you can expect when you head downstairs for lunch is those two.
And they took wonderful mistakes on absolutely not. They decided to go up and over very mindfully slow because if they were to go through, they wouldn't have made it out alive. So just imagine.
Ça a brûlé ici ou quoi, Thibaut?
Ah ouais. Ouais, ça a dû brûler là.
And therefore the name of the now flow through this area per minute. Which now just imagine how crazy it would be to be standing on top of that bridge when the water is a mere few feet underneath you. A group of hosts actually came here.
Ils sont cramés, mais les arbres sont verts.
There's also a nice view of the Fraser Canyon. So that Canadian National Bridge, it's a truss arch bridge and the largest single span bridge on the Canadian National Line at about 812 feet or 247 meters long, and it's about 220 feet above the
C'est marrant.
On dirait un truc de Gustave Eiffel. C'est pas Eiffel qui l'a fait?
Ça pourrait.
Ça pourrait. Oh non.
C'est peut-être du métal, la conception française.
Ça a débarrassé tous les gens du restaurant.
That we found ourselves in for the last few years. Up until, I want to say 2017, the biggest wildfire year in British Columbia was actually 2003. So it's really been in about the last 10 years. And unfortunately, just one day after they have broken the record for the hottest temperature ever recorded in Canada 3 days in a row, there was a wildfire.
est derrière nous.
So we're going to back up. You're going to notice there's going to be a lot of buses waiting to take you all to your hotels.
Une auto là. C'est belle, hein?
Thank you for your attention to our safety regulations and procedures. Okay, now that's
Sorry.
pretty spectacular that the journey that they go through. They have a really long life cycle. They kind of start out, they see that the rings are thicker, they have more nutrients, they know that the salmon had been plenty that year. That's because those bears, those eagles, those ospreys, they'll go and catch that fish.
Morning.
Morning.
J'aime la vidéo. C'est l'habillage. Littéralement. J'ai même pas encore goûté mon assiette.
daylight service and to be able to consistently see those Rocky Mountains. So we have about 2 weeks left of our season. We operate from mid-April until mid.
Ilisiwat is a First Nations word. It means swift current, and we actually get to cross over.
Chier pour la vidéo.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Thank you. Ah, putain, enfin.
of the Yomo Valley on the right-hand side. So we just passed over ourselves to that 226-degree turn. And then very briefly, there will be a photo opportunity to tracks that we just passed over. Changes. So in mountain time, local time is 6:04 p.m. So we are entering into mountain time at 6:04 p.m.
On voit pour chauffer là.
Alright.
Doors open. Come on in. Okay, now I'm going to tell you that there's a sensor here,
Okay.
and then there's sensors kind of around. So as long as you don't lean back, you're all good.
I was-
Yeah, so usually, people will hold on to that, but if you can find your balance in the middle.
I'm okay, I'm
Okay,
okay.
you're all set. Ready?
Alright.
It's really slow, but here we go.
No!
You can do a wave goodbye as you disappear.
This is real.
Voila. There you go.
Non.
Just kindly ask that you do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull into the station. We're going to pull quite far ahead. This is a very long consist. Right here. Right here. Guys, see one of them has a collar on. That's a tracking collar. So that's just a GPS device that's used by researchers in order to track the belt. So.
Bye bye, thank you.
On a pris en photo.